Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Had an auto accident? It's common to wonder how things could have turned out differently, if only.
No regrets.
If only you had Erie Insurance. Take the Erie Rate Lock feature. Erie won't punish you after an auto accident by raising your premium. Have yet another auto claim? Hey, it happens. With Erie Rate Lock, they still won't raise your rate. It stays right where it is until you change a car, driver, or address. That's better than forgiveness. It's a locked-in promise. One of many reasons more than 90% of Erie customers stay with Erie year after year. People who treat you fairly, legendary service, great rates. You may have other regrets in life, but with Erie, your insurance company won't be one of them. Go to ErieInsurance.com. That's ErieInsurance.com for a quote, or contact your local independent Erie agent today. Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Limited to 3 years in Virginia. Premium may change if you make a policy change. Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage. Other conditions and limitations at ErieInsurance.com.
Erie Insurance.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliate stations coast to coast present
Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike three, blew it past it.
Discussing baseball, good drinks, and food.
And you got your honey mustard?
I love mustard.
With Ted Hicks, Todd Vandenberg, and Lee Vowell.
Well, big deal. I am very professional.
Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the Happy Hour Network.
And welcome to Baseball Beer and Barbecue with Ted, Todd, and Lee. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on the Twitter at Baseball Beer BBQ and read us on our blog site, baseballbeerbbq.com. And get even more info at thehappyhournetwork.com. We will be talking in just a bit with Bryan Kilpatrick of SB Nation's Colorado Rockies site, Purple Row. It's at Purple Row, purplerow.com. You should check it out. It's a really, really good site, actually. And also, we would, of course, like to thank NGSC Sports, I-95 Sports Network, Back Sports Page, RF Sports, XRP Radio, iHeartRadio, which we are now playing on iTunes, Arena Sports Network, and Todd. Once I unveil you by unmuting you in the studio, who else do we have to thank today?
I am revealed. I am unveiled. I'm not reviled. Well, actually, I probably am reviled. Not just revealed, but I am reviled. But do you know who's not reviled? Computer repair.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
NC. At CJ Computers, NC, on the Twitter. 919-653-8496. And do you know what they do, Lee? Do you know what they do?
Wash your car.
You'll never. They do. They wash your car because it says, at Wash Your Car NC. No, fool. They repair your computer. It's right there in the name. How could you possibly miss that?
I don't know. I should know it at this point. I actually should have someone look at my computer because it's running a little bit slow. I should actually take it over there and have those wonderful people who do an excellent job.
You should take it over there to them in Raleigh, or just call them ahead. 919-653-8496.
I should actually call them the next time I'm through that way.
Call them right now.
I'm not too far.
No, call them now. Let's call them live.
Call them. We should dial out from the show. And excuse me, CJ Computers NC. So besides that, and before we get into baseball, because our friend Ted, I think he forgets what time the show starts sometimes, and he's I got time, and it's like it's always at 10 a.m. But sometimes 10 a.m. is when you're a laid back guy like Ted, it's 10ish, is 10:15 or whatever. So Todd, we'll get into this because Ted may not be that interested in the tennis. But you actually got a chance to see the number one ranked men's player in the world yesterday at the Miami Open, easy for me to say, Novak Djokovic. And you saw doubles as well. Tell us about that experience, Todd.
It was hot. Back to you, Lee. No, it was a blast. It's I still think of it as the Lipton, which probably a lot of people do because it's the tennis tournament on Key Biscayne, which kind of ticks me off. They call it the Miami Open. It's not in Miami. It's Miami-Dade Park System, so call it the Miami-Dade Open if you have to do that. Whatever.
That's
anyway,
confusing, though. Isn't that clunky? Wouldn't that be clunky if they called it that? It's easy, isn't it easier? Because I was thinking about that, too. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing what you were saying. It makes sense. But I was thinking about that, too. Isn't it just like, people know Miami. So that's why they call it the Miami Open, right? Just Miami.
Oh, yeah, because, it would be kind of a Miami-Dade Park System would be just awful. It would be kind of really terrible. So, I get it. Anyway, it was lovely. It was quite pleasant. One thing that irritated me was the lack of fan support in Miami, which does not surprise me because having grown up there during my high school years, I already know Miami is a god-awful sports town. I think it's a great town, but it's a god-awful town for supporting sports. I mean, their support of their local college team is abysmal, which we talked about before. Let me just say, this is the semifinals of one of the top tournaments in the world. It's not a Grand Slam tourney, but it's the echelon right below that.
It's a Masters.
All
right?
the players go. All the players go. All the top players are always in it. It's a semifinal. It's okay, so it's 1:00, but come on, take the day off. The stadium reached a pinnacle. I would say it was possibly, and this is well into the first set because people are trickling in because whatever. Maybe it was 35% full, maybe 40% full for a semifinal match featuring Djokovic. It was like,
oh my gosh, wow, yeah,
that was awful.
Let me back up just a little bit. Before we came live, we were talking about, and you'll talk about this in a second about people leaving, but I didn't realize that it wasn't capacity when Djoko was playing. That's ridiculous.
Oh, nowhere near it. At the start of it, seriously, it was. I tweeted, I think it was maybe 20%. Maybe it was 25%. Maybe at the start of the match.
That's crazy.
At the most, it was 25% full, and it maybe got to 40 by the time they were like well into the first set. But the match itself was a lot of fun to watch. Djokovic played really poorly. I don't have the stats in front of me for the entire match, but I know in the first set alone he committed 24 enforced errors. Djokovic, he does that in a month, in an entire tournament usually. I mean, it was and these are unforced errors. This is not. Oh my God!
Well, for you and me, they're forced errors because we have to swing a racket and try to hit a ball. But for somebody like him, it's unforced. Yeah,
it was really surprising. But of course, he made some amazing shots because he's Djokovic. I mean, a few times where there was one sequence when he was battling. I think it was like 3-2 in the second set. He won the first set, set 7-5. Actually, he won the first set in the tiebreak. I'm sorry. He won the tiebreak 7-5 to take the first set 7-6. And they're battling in the second set, and he hits a crazy drop shot. Opponent gets to it. He slams it back, and Djokovic, of course, he's like on the other side of the court at that point, and hits a crazy topspin lob, which lands like 6 inches inside the baseline. Just a beautiful, beautiful point. Then that put him up, I think it was, so that put him up 40-30, no, 40-15. Screwed up on the next point, got to 40-30, and then he aced the guy, to go up when he needed to. So he still pulled out, these ridiculous shots that pretty much nobody on the planet can do. So it was really fun to see the top player in the world, and he was really struggling, but you could see why he's the top player in the world. I mean, man, the guy is just
right. Because if you can win when you're not playing your best, that's the mark of a great champion, right?
Exactly right. So I stayed. What I was going was men's semis, men's single semis, followed by the women's doubles semis. So I'm hanging out for that, and first off, this is the first thing that happened is the stadium empties out. And the first match took, I would say, 2 hours and 4 minutes, something in that range. Pretty long for considering it's just 2 sets. So we go on, and like I said, 90% of the people leave. And I'm thinking, okay, most of them are just going to get a drink, bathroom break, whatever. I get it. That's makes perfect sense, right?
Right.
No. 90% of that 90% of the stadium that left, they left. They saw what they wanted to see. They took off. So about 5 or 6 minutes after the end of Djokovic's match, they announced, it's like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to move on down into the stadium, which is great that they did that. But
the sad thing is, and I know you're going to say this, but the sad thing is they're totally prepared to say that because they know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yes. It's very, again, it's, to me, in a way, I guess that's Miami because, again, Miami's a crappy sports town. So women's doubles semis starts, and literally, because I actually did kind of a head count in one section to get a good estimate, there were no more than 500 people left in the stadium for the women's doubles semifinals. And I think it was really close to 400. And they missed a hell of a match, better than the people who left saw. It's Margarita Gasparian and Monica Nicolescu versus Tomia Babos and Yaroslava Shvedova. And I'm sure I murdered their name.
No, that was good. That was impressive.
But Babos Shvedova, they're seated fourth in the tourney, and man, it was an amazingly good match. They had a very tough time with their opponents. They won the first set 7-5. Gasparian and Nicolescu came back and they won the second set 6-4. And both sets were closer than even that sounds. I mean, there were so many deuce points and it amazingly good tennis, as you will, of course, see in doubles. But just, you know, I mean, I'm sitting there watching. It's like, oh, so that's what I need to do. Okay, this is great. And they just play a tie break. They don't play a third set. They play the first to 10. And the seeds, Babos and Shvedova, won the tie break 10-8. And they were actually down, I believe they were down 7-4 at one point. So, oh my God. I mean, just what a great tennis match that was. And to think that I was one of about 500 people that got to see it, you know, I just felt really bad for the ladies. It's like they're coming out there and they're coming out to an empty stadium basically. It's like, man, that's just got to be. And like you said, I'm sure it happens because it's doubles for one thing, and that's not nearly as popular as singles anyway. And the women's game, depending on who's playing, sometimes not a big draw either. I'd be curious to see how many people showed up for the evening session, because the evening session featured, again, the other semifinal for the men's singles and the ladies' doubles. And the evening session was Nishikori defeated Kyrgios 6-3, 7-5. And Nishikori, he was seeded 6th. Kyrgios was only 24th. I mean, and that's one thing. This has been, I forgot to mention David Goffin. That was Djokovic's opponent, and he was only seeded 15th. I mean, the Open has been just murder on the seeds.
Unless it's Djokovic.
You know, unless it's Djokovic, which shows you how good he is, because everybody else is gone. I mean, he's going to face Nishikori, and as they mentioned in the post-match interview with Djoko, who was incredibly gracious because he's Djoko, he's such a cool guy, and you know, yeah, you're supposed to be gracious and blah blah blah. They just really humble, and they mentioned, oh, you have a chance to tie the great Andre Agassi, Agassi had won. Agassi, wow, where did that come from? Agassi had won the Open 6 times. This is back when it's Lipton. Djoko has it 5, so he'll be able to tie if he wins it. And odds are he will, you know. So, and he's talking about, it's just such an honor to be mentioned, you know, along with Agassi and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, we all know it's really the other way. And no knock on Agassi, but it's the other way.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and the funny thing is, you can tell he's being sincere. You can tell. It's just like, oh, and this was the best point of the match to me. I mean, think how tight this match was, okay? I mean, tough first set, all those unforced errors, and he had about the same number of unforced errors in the second set too, which he won 6-4, and I think it was think it was 3-3, and he's serving to go up, and hits a serve. They call it an ace. Goffin kind of looks at it. Before anything else happens, in an incredibly tough match, and this is a lot of money, too. It's not just prestige and blah, blah, blah. Joko waves it off. Says, no, it was out. And he hits a second serve. It's like, okay, we know that's how...
And that was an ace. No,
it was. No, it wasn't an ace, but he did win the point. And then he went on, but, this is a big pressure point. He's not playing well. He didn't serve well at all. I think, and I'm not going to bother to look it up, but I think he had maybe 2 or 3 aces. And that's not really his game, but...
He has more than that normally in a match, though.
He had a lot of second serves, too. He had a lot of second serves. So for him to wave off one of the few aces, just because, and they called it in.
Right.
It's like, no, but, we understand that's tennis. That's what you're supposed to do. But, it's just like immediate. It was, nope.
Right.
That was out. Here's my second serve. It's like, that just, to me, that's what this guy is.
Yeah.
It was just, and that's why it was so cool to see him. I was just lucky in the draw because I didn't want to go to the 7:00 session because it would have been really late getting back from Miami. So I said, I'll go to the 1:00. And then I found out, it's Joko.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that worked out. Extremely well. The good thing about him not playing well yesterday is that really bodes well for Nishikori today. I think the final is today. It may be tomorrow, but I think it's today at 1 or 7. So I'm sure he'll play poorly again. Not really. So let's move. One quick note. Ted is on the line. We're keeping him on hold until the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding. We'll bring Ted on. But Duncan Keith of the Blackhawks, of course, had a sticking incident where he kind of swung a stick at an opposing player who had knocked him down. For Blackhawks fans, hockey fans, it looks like he's only going to be that 1-game playoff suspension, which won't hurt the Blackhawks too far. So he could have gotten worse, but he didn't. That's what's up with that. And we have a lot of stuff to cover in just a few minutes, but let's bring Ted on. Ted, hopefully you're having a good day so far, and you enjoyed your respite this morning, sleeping in, having your mimosas.
I wish.
Just sitting back, listening to the show, listening to your co-hosts just work their asses off while you're just counting the bills, I guess. But anyway, I'm joking, of course. So let's talk a little March Madness before we get into baseball. Are you guys going to watch I know we talked a little bit about this last week, and Ted, you mentioned you might watch the Final Four, possibly. Do you plan on watching any of the games tonight?
Yes. Final Four, yes. And like I said, 2 weeks ago I was at the game when it didn't matter, but it kind of didn't matter for me. But tonight I will be watching both games, and enjoying them. And I believe the big game is Monday night, right?
That's correct. The big game. Hopefully it's a bigger game than just, for me personally, it's a bigger game than just, it's a big game. But yes, that's correct. Monday night. Actually, I will be watching the game on my iPad while I am a guest, not for me, but in the batter's box on NGSE Sports tonight. So if anybody wants to listen to that, I'll be on that. So awesome. Turn the sound down on the Carolina game, whoever they're playing, and listen to in the batter's box. Obviously, Carolina is playing Syracuse. They've beaten them twice in this season. I'll say this. Obviously, I'm a Carolina homer. They beat them twice. They were both close games. First game, I think they won by 11, but it was really a lot closer game. In fact, they were tied, and Syracuse had a lead in the second half, and Isaiah Hicks got super hot and scored 19 of his 21 points, I think, in the second half, and they ended up winning by 11. Second game, Carolina only won by 5, but in Carolina's defense, Syracuse has that matchup zone, which is hard to. The first time you're facing it, it's tough enough. The third time's tough enough. But if you've played it twice before, it should be a little less difficult for a team that knows what it's going up against. and Carolina has beaten them. Carolina is the better team on paper, especially Bryce Johnson is a beast. But on paper, Carolina is a better team, and they've proven that they've been a better team twice this season. While it's hard to beat the same team 3 times, at least they are more prepared, right, than some team who's never played Syracuse or hadn't played Syracuse this year. So that I guess I'm looking for some support from you guys to just say yes, Lee. They'll be okay tonight. But it's really it's better for them, right? If they've played this team twice and beaten this team twice, and they kind of know what they're going up against, right?
If you say so.
Thanks, guys.
Usually doesn't work that way, but
you guys were like, I'm looking for support, and you're like, nah, not really.
Nah.
That's awesome. It's great radio. Well, fine. There's another fucking game too. Let's talk about Oklahoma and Villanova. Jesus. Actually, that should be a really. I will say both these games should be entertaining. Oklahoma and Villanova should be an extremely entertaining game with the way those two teams play. I think I think Oklahoma's going to win just because obviously they've got the big guy Buddy. But they also have his supporting cast is pretty good too. So I think Oklahoma. What about you guys? What do you think? Who's going to win tonight?
Villanova. Come on.
Well, is that because you're kind of close to Philadelphia?
I'm kind of close to Philadelphia, and I represent the Northeast, the East Coast, baby, and I'm going with Villanova, and I'm going with Syracuse. That's it.
Okay, well, you're okay, fine. This is Ted's last show. Just to make that known. No, I'm just kidding. So Todd dropped off, unfortunately. I'm not sure.
He's back.
He's
back.
back. Who do you think is going to win tonight in the 2 games of March Madness?
Please say Syracuse. Please say Syracuse. Please.
The NCAA
say Syracuse.
will impose sanctions on both teams. The NCAA will impose sanctions on both teams. But the good news is every fan attending gets a free car and a free...
A free what?
Oh, that was great.
I think the NCAA just muted Todd. That was awesome.
Just muted him.
A free car and a free...
him.
Bloom. Like, what was that about?
They sanctioned him.
They did. He dropped off. Totally sanctioned him. That was awesome. So anyway, Todd has been removed by the NCAA police. So we'll move on from that. So Ted, you're going to opening day, right? Monday. Tell us about that.
No, I'm not going to opening day.
I thought you had opening day tickets to the Mets game.
Yeah, but opening day is actually in Kansas City.
No, I mean Mets opening day, not opening day.
Yeah. So I'll be there Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Wait, are they playing Kansas City the first game of the season?
Yes.
I think we've talked about that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Who does? That's dumb.
I bet you that's going to be the new norm.
Yeah, I think you're right. The World Series teams playing each other, but that's dumb. You don't want to have intra-league game to start the season. That's
why they're already drumming up the, will someone get hit? Will, I guess this is their a cheap marketing ploy. But for the Syndergaard was saying, kind of rambling back and forth. But I think tomorrow night it starts it.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah, Royals and Mets. But
that's dumb.
It really is. It really is. But yeah. So this really looking forward to next weekend.
Todd is back with us, by the way, Ted. He's dialed in.
I tell you, you got to leave Skype alone. It's not your friend.
I mean, the funny thing is, I use Skype every show, and it always works well. And I think it's Todd's. Something Todd must be. It's his internet connection or something has got to be wonky where he lives.
It's my internet connection. It's thank you Comcast. It's not Skype. It's Comcast because it dropped everything off. So thank you Comcast for your excellent service for the call dropping the internet connection. Let's see, during the show once last week, 3 times this week. I'm not even going to try the 4th time because I reconnected and dropped off, and I reconnected and dropped off. So thank you, Comcast, for quality service.
You actually
Comcast, you are as good as the compliance department of either Syracuse or North Carolina. So there you go. North Carolina wins tonight, by the way.
I will interrupt because you made the comment about North Carolina, so I have to. But you actually sound good, even though it's a cell phone. You sound clear, so it sounds okay.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that didn't sound clear, but otherwise it sounded clear.
Todd.
Hey, Ted.
Is there something you're doing? Because your voice is sounding really sexy right now.
Well, I'm doing something all right, Ted.
It just got weird.
I'm thinking about the NCAA. That's what I'm doing.
So wait, you said Syracuse is going to win tonight?
No, he did not. He said something about the NCAA, and then the cops disconnected his internet.
Right.
The NCAA was like, bam.
Carolina wins by 17. Seriously, I think they'll blow out Syracuse.
Yeah, I think so.
I think their rebounding is just ferocious and just
great.
too much. And Jalen Rose said something which perfectly makes sense. He was talking about how shooting percentages go down in domes, always, for these tourney teams. And what happens if shooting percentages go down when you're going up against a team that's an amazingly great rebounding team, comparatively speaking? So,
yeah.
They are. I think they would win.
You said comparatively speaking. I mean, Carolina is I mean, they out-rebounded Duke 62-29.
Right.
I mean, they're a great rebounding team. So, I think that's an excellent point, Todd. Really, I do. I think the rebounding is the issue. And if you're in a zone, and Syracuse knows how to play in a zone, but you rebound a lot better when you're man to man than you're in a zone. So, just is what it is. So we have a lot of stuff to get to still. We are going to re-implement the Rob Gordons, and we're going to do that quickly. And just as a note to my co-hosts, it's supposed to say worst movie ever, not movie.
Oh.
Although it was worst movie.
I had something else in mind.
You could definitely go there.
Come on.
I didn't see it till this morning, and I was like, oh, man. So, but we are talking about opening day, of course, and that happens. Ted and I don't know if, Todd, you heard that, but Ted and I were already complaining about opening day being an interleague game.
Yeah.
Between the Royals and the Mets.
That's interleague is awful. It's an abomination, especially for opening day. I agree, gentlemen. I agree.
You don't do it.
Right. You shouldn't do it. Yeah. So
just say no.
They're franchises, and they got to do what the boss says. So I'm gonna change this up. So usually every year when we do our previews, we also preview what the standings are going to be at the end of the year. Well, I'm far too lazy to go back and check every show, so because we do a lot of shows. So this year we're actually going to make our previews right now, and we're not going to take up an hour doing it. We're just going to do it really quickly. So hopefully you guys are ready. And I did say the top two in each division, but if you guys want to, we could even preview just really quickly. I could say, this is how I see the American League East. I think it's going to be the Red Sox, the Jays, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Orioles. And that's how I would see it. So do you guys want to do that, or do you want to just do the top two in each division?
You will blindly follow our leader.
Okay. So
whatever you want.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's my AL East. Don't ask me to do it again because I don't know if I could. So, Todd, your AL East prediction for 2016.
Blue Jays, Yankees, Orioles, Rays, Red Sox. Oh, that's last year. This year, Blue Jays. Blue Jays, Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, Rays.
Oh.
A little different, but I don't see a whole lot of difference, actually.
Fair enough. Ted?
Blue Jays, Rays, Orioles, Yankees, Sox.
You know, the funny thing in that division is literally anything could be correct. Because the Orioles are extremely well managed, and they they re-signed some guys they needed to re-sign. I don't know if their starting pitching is good enough to hold up against the other teams, but some of the other teams don't have great starting pitching. The Blue Jays lost, of course, David Price, but they didn't have him all season last year. They only had him in the second half, so I mean, literally, are any of these teams badly managed? I mean, they're all pretty solid. So,
right.
I mean, anything could happen. So, AL Central, for me, I don't know why people are poo-pooing the Royals still. I mean, because none of those other teams really stand out. So I'm still going to have the Royals on top, I believe. So I'll say Royals, Indians, White Sox, Tigers, and Twins, just because I think the Twins are going to take a step back just because they're starting pitching. What about you guys? Todd?
I agree with you on the Royals. Royals will win. After that, it will be Tigers. My Tigers will come back. They probably won't, but they're my Tigers. So Royals, then Tigers, then Twins, then Indians, then White Sox.
Should I go against the grain? Royals, Tigers, White Sox, Indians. No, Twins will finish before the Indians.
Okay. And again, we'll be in Cleveland in August to see who are we seeing?
Yes.
The Indians and...
Angels, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
The Angels.
So,
Mike Trout.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and we'll
from New Jersey.
We will be coming live from some random bar in Cleveland on that Saturday, so that'll be interesting. Which it makes it sound like I'm making a joke, but that's really what will be happening.
No.
And then we will be seeing the Indians and the Angels and tweeting out to your... This is in August. I'm sure you guys won't hold your breath in April, but both months do start with A. So the AL West, I will say... I really want to say the Mariners, but I can't. So I'll say the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners, the Angels... I don't think I said them, and the Athletics. So that was Astros, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, and Athletics. There's too many A's in that division. That's crazy.
Hey. Like Fonzie.
I will say your Los Angeles Anaheim Angels of Orange County finally break the curse of the gentleman who's been holding them back from the playoffs. They will overcome Mike Trout, and they will win the division finally. So it's the Angels, followed by the Astros, followed by your Mariners, followed by the Strangers, and then the Oakland Athletics, who in 3 years will probably win the division because that's how they roll.
That would be awesome if
But
there was a team called the Strangers. That would be awesome.
I'm going with Angels, Rangers, Astros. Yes, Astros in third place, Murph, this year. Don't start near that mess. Mariners, and then Athletics.
I forgot all about that. That's
yeah,
funny.
come on. How could you forget? He talked about it all year long.
Every day. Yeah, that's right.
Jeez.
And then he ended up missing, right? So I don't know. But yeah, they made the playoffs, but they didn't win the division. So NL East, obviously the Mets are last. No, I'm just kidding. So I'll say the Mets. Actually, I'm just going to do the same thing that happened last year because it just makes sense. The Mets, Nationals, because they still are a good team. The Marlins. Oh, I've been tinged out by the bell. And Braves and Phillies. That's how I'm going to see it. Same as last year. Todd?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. Although, there really should be a team called the Strangers because they could have Stranger Danger Night. Free admission for pedophiles. I mean, there's so much baseball could do with that.
Just so they can round them up and then send them to jail. That's what
exactly.
Oh, you're a pedophile?
Exactly.
Just go right over there. First cross on
that's
the
what
left.
they do.
That's what they
Best sting operation ever.
Michael Palin standing there, first cross on the left. Crucifixion? So anyway. So, Ted.
This really bothers
Sorry,
me.
that was the setup for you.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's okay. I have so many problems with this because, without a doubt, the tightest race from day one, from game one, that will matter is in the NL East. So, being the homer, the Mets will win the division. The Nationals will be no less than 2 games behind them. From that point on, it's Marlins, Braves, and Phillies in any order of the final 3 teams.
Yeah, that could be. Go ahead, Todd.
It's funny to me that the thing Ted says this really bothers me, and it's not the pedophile promotion that bothers him. It's the race between the Mets and the Nationals. Is like, wow, okay, Ted.
Well, but if we said the same thing about the NL West, I would have to, I would agree with what Ted's sentiment, where his sentiment is coming from with that. So I would say the same. So the NL Central, obviously, we had 3 teams. It sounds like a joke, but we had 3 teams who won more than 97 or more games last year, which sounds ridiculous. But and everybody's talking about.
Lee, can I stop you for a minute? Those three teams won more than the NL East and NL West division winner. That's scary. Okay, back to you. Sorry about that.
No. It's okay because it wasn't just that. They actually won more games than anybody else. Those were the 3 best teams in baseball.
Yep.
So even in the American League. And everybody's talking about the Cubs, and it's hard to pass up the Cubs because, they got tons of young talent. They're obviously extremely well managed. The only thing I think that could hold the Cubs back is depth in their starting rotation. Lackey had a good season last year, but before that he was awful. Lester hasn't been Lester. He wasn't last year. Arrieta, is he going to take a step back? So, I have to pick the Cardinals because for whatever reason the Cardinals could have 3 guys on the team, they'd still win the division. So even though I don't think they're the best team on paper, I'm going to go Cardinals, Cubs, Pirates, and then there's 2 other teams I think in the division. So
I'm torn between saying the Cubs will win like 105 or they'll miss the playoffs. To me it's either a feast or famine, and it's for exactly the same reasons you're saying, Lee. Is depth and what other starting rotation is going to. But I'm going to say Cubs win 105, followed by the Cardinals because, of course, they will at least make the playoffs. And the Pirates, I think, will finally take a step back, which is unfortunate. But I don't think they will make the playoffs just because that's not going to happen 2 years in a row. That was insane. There's no way those are the best 3 teams in baseball again. So I think the Pirates will be the team that takes a slight step back, followed by Little Sisters of Mercy and the Strangers, the new franchise in the National League.
I think what we're going to see this year is going to be a carbon copy again in the NL Central. There will be 3 teams that will make the playoffs, which will make baseball even more interesting in the other divisions in the National League. So I can't bet against the Cardinals not winning the division until they don't win the division. Until they don't make the playoffs. So I'm going Cardinals, Cubs, because of all the hype. Pirates, there will be fall off, but I still think they'll win more than 90 games. And then the other 2 teams.
It's funny because nobody talks about the Pirates. They won 98 games last year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not like they're the Pirates. No, they're a pretty freaking good team. So, and the NL West, I'm never going to pick my own team. You guys know that. Everybody listening knows that. So I'm going to go Giants, Dodgers, Diamond, because the Diamondbacks are a good team. They were better really than the record showed last year. They just have some weird stats, weird external stats. But I'm still thinking the Dodgers, because at some point, although they didn't go out and, we didn't re-sign this guy. At some point, if it gets to be June or July and they're a little bit back, they're going to be like, screw it, we're going to go get somebody. Because they have the money and they can spend the money. And I think they're going about it the right way. But I still think the Giants, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Rockies, just because of our guest. He was, Bryan Kilpatrick's a nice guy. We have our Rob Gordons to go, and then we'll have the interview with, so we're going to run over a little bit today. But, everybody should listen to his interview. Super nice guy. So I'm going to say Rockies and then Padres. You guys?
And super intelligent guy. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely.
You will be happy. You'll be happy that you plowed through our crap to listen to him.
Ultra intelligent.
I will say it will be the Dodgers, since Lee won't, but I think the Dodgers are clearly the class of that division. I will go with the Diamondbacks in second. And I do want to mention that Lee has talked about the external stats that are weird. One of the external stats that is weird. Popcorn sales were up 300% for the Giants, but Cracker Jack was down. So for the Diamondbacks,
sad.
Who knows? So
you
really
should have
odd.
kept it as Giants, because didn't Cracker Jack start in San Francisco?
I believe, along with a lot of other things.
It did.
Right now. Right now. So yeah, it's Dodgers, D-backs, then the Giants, because their starting rotation to me is kind of scary. D-bags, yes, it will be the D-bags.
Okay.
And the Giants rotation kind of scares me, and not in a good way. Followed by your Colorado Rockies, and then the San Diego Inepts, because they don't deserve to be called anything other than that. Not the players, the organization.
Yeah, true. Good point.
I'm going Padres, Rockies.
That's awesome.
Diamondbacks, Giants, and Dodgers in reverse.
In reverse order. Although, if you're right, you should. I'm gonna just take out the reverse part. We'll replay almost like Ted was totally right. Check this out. So,
and then I could be this year's Murph.
That's right. Yeah, every day. I told you guys from day one, when it's day 2 of the season, that this team would be. That's what we should do. Like somebody just randomly wins their first game, which always happens. I told you guys, the Phillies are going to be the class of the National League. So, if you're Murph, if you're listening, we're just joking.
The hate today. The hate.
We love you, Murph.
One more thing. Let's do this because we're not going to be right anyway, or if we are, it's good. American League MVP and American League Cy Young. I'll go. Yeah, I know. That was very Murph-like, by the way. He usually did that one. So, you know what? I'm going to say Tanaka wins the American League Cy Young because I had the Yankees kind of being pretty good, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to say
Professor Teru Tanaka. Yes, I slammed you, but it's in honor of WrestleMania. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm cool with it. I'm actually going to say the American League MVP, Mookie Betts of the Red Sox.
Come on.
You never know.
Come on.
Josh Hamilton will not play more than 25 games, so it won't be him. It'll be Mr. Trout for his 17th MVP appearance, and this time he actually will sniff a playoff game as his reward. And I'll say David Price.
Ted?
Trouty, until he loses in the MLB version of LeBron James.
Has he won though?
Hasn't he
won?
He's
won one, right?
Yeah, he's won one, but I mean the league they're just so in love with him.
That's true.
You know, it's like, do you remember like when turning on an NBA game on a Sunday and it didn't feature LeBron James? You know, that was when he was losing his hair and after he fixed it.
He fixed it. From Ron Mobile, my new hair.
Okay, and going with Cy Young, the guy that we're going to see in August, Corey Kluber.
Ooh, good call.
We're going to see him on August 13th because Lee chose that day using, some Bill James theory to ensure. Now watch when that happens. Replay this when that happens.
I will. I'll have to. So, okay, well, and NL Cy Young and MVP, I'm going to go out on a limb on these. I'm going to say Clayton Kershaw and Bryce Harper.
Wow, that's a stretch.
Revolutionary.
That's a seventh inning stretch. I'm going to say Max Scherzer wins both.
Ooh.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Because why not?
Possible. You know, the funny thing is, at the end of the season last year, I mean, the guy had 2 no-hitters last year. It wasn't like he was pitching badly.
He was on.
Right. Yep.
That's what scares me that so much with the Nationals.
Yeah, because aren't they really, except for Jordan Zimmerman, they're really the same. Everybody had them picked. Nationals are already getting fitted for their World Series rings. And it's like basically they're the same team. Are they not? They still have Strasburg. They still have Scherzer. They still have Gio Gonzalez. I mean, they're still basically the same kind of team.
And they got that Trader Met second baseman, the guy who we thought was Roy Hobbs.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Daniel Murphy.
Thomas Murphy? Thomas Murphy?
But okay. National League, Todd?
He said Scherzer both.
Scherzer for both.
Oh, you did? You were serious about that?
Oh, yeah, seriously. I was totally serious on that.
Okay.
Because why not? Why not?
All right. Bartolo Colon.
Hold on.
It just got weird.
Bartolo Colon will help Noah Syndergaard
okay.
win.
We weren't even sure how that sentence was going to end.
I think this is Syndergaard's year. I think this is going to be his coming out party. I'm hoping a lot from him this year. I mean, the guy was on most of last year. And expecting big things from him. And yes, I'm sounding like the homer when saying Syndergaard because just seeing this guy, just seeing him live is something that's just unbelievable. I mean, I know everyone is caught on Harvey and DeGrom and even Steven Matz, but I'm telling you, the best pitcher on that staff is Syndergaard. So he's my pick for Cy Young and MVP, Bryce Harper.
Hey, Ted, I don't think there's any homer to that. I mean, yes, easily could do that. And I do want to interject, though, that
either one.
Yeah.
There's no homer to it. I was going to agree with Todd. Sorry, Todd, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say that in honor, again, of WrestleMania, Ted, the tag team that needs to show up is the New York Fifth Starters, Sabathia and Colon. At a combined weight of 937 pounds. Combined experience of 700 years in the ring. It's like, oh, my God, these guys are – that's really cool to me. It's really cool. I mean, these guys are just – they are professionals. They are professional ball players. They're professional pitchers. And I think that's awesome. Seriously, it's awesome.
Hey,
it'd be nice if there were more guys like that in baseball.
Can we quickly talk about – I mean, well, I'll just mention it. I think I mentioned it last show. The fact that Sabathia is making $25 million this season, and he was a last-second pick for the number 5 starter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
crazy.
when you front load those contracts the way they do, and it's guaranteed money, that's going to happen in baseball more often than not, probably. So, actually, it's
you
before
spend a lot
we get
of money,
to
they got to make a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Patrick Ewing runs everything. So, before we get into the interview with Bryan Kilpatrick of Purple Road to preview specifically the NL West, what was that? Diane Weiss is here. NL West. I have no idea what that
Thinking about the Dodgers. He's thinking about the Dodgers.
No, I'm thinking about the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers. So we're gonna re-implement our Rob Gordon. So here's the intro to the Rob Gordons.
These are the Rob Gordons, presented by the Greenlandic Norse Society and Mutual of Omaha.
I actually forgot it said that. I was just like, these are Rob Gordons.
I love the Greenlandic Norse Society.
And the Mutual of
Omaha. It's a quality organization. And Mutual of Omaha. Stan, go wrestle that crocodile.
So these are the Rob Gordons, and we have a few that we're going to do, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on these, obviously, but because we do want to get to that interview. But we're going to throw them out real fast. Favorite band, not best band, because that could be Stones, that could be Beatles or whatever. Favorite band from the 1960s, Ted.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Ooh, sweet choice.
That reminds me of that Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Under the Bridge. No, I was cold. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry, Sly. If you're listening.
That was. On.
I think he just got a lot of money, though, didn't he? From copyright? Yeah, didn't he win, like, millions of dollars from that? Hopefully it was millions of dollars.
I think he did. It's probably all gone.
Yeah.
There were a couple other comments I was going to make about booze and hookers and all that other stuff, but that's not appropriate on this show. This is a family show.
That's fucking right. So, but
my favorite band from the 60s is the best band from the 60s. It is the Beatles.
You know, people could almost say Led Zeppelin because they started. But my favorite band is from the '60s. Was the first band I ever saw in concert that I chose to go to, which is the Kinks. So, you know, great band. All those bands are great. I mean, you can't really argue with any of those.
They're favorite bands, so you can't argue with it.
Well,
What's wrong with you?
But even if people wanted to argue with the quality of, no, you can't say that. You can't say the Monkees. You could argue with that. But, you know.
Oh my God! I totally forgot about the Monkees. I changed my.
Hey, it's the Monkees.
I changed my pick to Burt Bacharach. Burt Bacharach and Dionne Warwick. That's my favorite band from the '60s.
Burt Bacharach. So, Ted, three favorite TV shows ever.
Ever? Okay. 3 favorite TV shows, and I want to include along with them why they were my 3 favorites. So I'll also include the 3 favorite characters. 3 favorite TV shows are The Wire because of Omar Little, CSI when it featured Gilbert Grissom, and my mystery show is Three's Company because of Mr. Furley.
I really wanted you to say CSI because it featured that character Gilbert Grape.
Tonight,
Todd?
a different show. Any Quinn Martin production because I really love Tonight. No, The Twilight Zone because anything can happen on The Twilight Zone. Comedy, drama, blah blah blah, and very strange things. The Dick Van Dyke Show because it still makes me laugh every time he trips over that frickin' ottoman. And boy, it was really hard to just narrow it down to a third one, but I guess I will go with Mad Men out of a dozen possibilities.
Yeah, this one was tough. I came up with it. I was sitting there trying to watch Better Call Saul actually last night, which is a fabulous show in itself, and I was thinking favorite TV shows because Breaking Bad's phenomenal, but it doesn't make my top 3. So Mad Men, Seinfeld, and Monty Python's Flying Circus. I could have gone with MASH, but you know, how can you turn down Monty Python?
I'm surprised you didn't go with MASH.
Well, I mean, it's like 3B. You know, putting any of these 3 up, it's like there's so many. It's one of these arguments I don't like getting into. Yeah, because people will argue, hey, Ted, who's your favorite, or I don't know, do you like Adele? Yeah. Oh, you like Adele. Why do you hate?
Right.
Somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
hate them. I just prefer this person.
Yeah.
I also appreciate the other one. And there's so many people
it's not
out
that you're
like
picking that. Yeah, it's not that you're picking the third one. It's that you're eliminating everything else, and that's
right.
what's hard about it. So.
Yeah. So Ted, it says worst move ever because I couldn't type, but it's supposed to be worst movie ever. But if you have worst move, we could also hear that as well.
Okay. Worst movie, I'm going to say Jiggly. Worst move ever, which I thought was what it was. It gives you a little personal insight. I was going to say my worst move ever was in 1989 when I crashed my 1984 300ZX.
Oh.
Totally.
Yeah. That stinks.
That is a bad move.
Yeah.
That is a bad move. My worst movie ever is the only movie I ever walked out on, and I did not even walk out of Shyamalan's Avatar, so the last Avatar. So I don't walk out of movies, but I did walk out of one, and that was Pure Luck, with unfortunately for him Danny Glover and the amazing Martin Short. Wow, what an awful movie! And worst move, I would say, is when I was hitting on my principal in elementary school. I was in first grade. She was about 67. Didn't work well for me.
You got to pill those scabs and let that pus flow. So,
and this has been the Happy Hour Network.
I was like, hopefully somebody will respond. I was like, I don't want dead silence on that. That was a joke. So, worst movie ever. Of course, you wouldn't know how to do that in first grade. But worst movie ever is M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. To me, that was awful. And worst move ever, it's not even a personal thing. It's probably Elaine's dance on Seinfeld because she can't dance.
Nice.
So, Ted, best supporting character ever.
Best supporting character ever. Okay.
Ted, you want to think about it?
No. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Do you need a lifeline? Do you want to have a lifeline?
I'm gonna say any vice president in the modern age. But
Nice.
I will say Tom Hagen, who is AKA Robert Duvall.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know all the madness that's going on, and you're just like, do I turn a blind eye to this or not?
It's funny you mentioned Robert Duvall because he's not a lead in a lot of films, but you could almost just say any film Robert Duvall is in.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great pick. I am actually going to go with an actor who is also in The Godfather, but is typically remembered for his role as Fish in Barney Miller. Fish is the best supporting character to me because there's so many things. He didn't even speak, and he would dominate the scene. And that's what people think of Abe Vigoda as Fish. And this guy had been in the industry for, since I think D.W. Griffith actually cast him as a lead in several films. And yet, most people don't even know Abe Vigoda's name. They just know Fish.
Yep.
Yeah. And this one's easy. It's Barney 5, the Andy Griffith Show, which would probably be 3C if I had a favorite show. So it's Barney. So I'm not Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
And Dream interview. This is our last one before we get to our interview with Bryan Kilpatrick of Purple Row from the Rockies site, who will be previewing NL West. Ted, dream interview. Still living person, not like, I'd love to interview Grace Kelly because she's so pretty. Although you can say that, she's dead.
I got one and 1A. Muhammad Ali would be dead on. Not in. I mean, and I mean this respectfully. Not in his current state, but So I just want to say that respectfully. And 1A is definitely the geek side of me is Bill Gates.
That's good. Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to change it up a little bit too. I would not be doing an interview. I would be moderating a debate, and it would be between President Obama and Mr. Trump.
Oh,
because I would enjoy watching the blood flow. It would be the best evisceration ever.
I don't mean to try to one up you because I may not, but I was thinking that too as far as moderating a debate. But to me, it would be Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Because people would be
and which is a good point because President Obama is a little more respectful and maybe a little less likely to go for the jugular. Actually, let me rephrase that. Remove President Obama, and it's not going to be Bill Clinton. It's going to be Joe Biden because Joe Biden will say anything that pops into his head because he gives zero fucks. So Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. That is the debate I would pay money, a lot of money to see.
That's interesting. And still living person. This is a tough one for me because it's like I could go in any direction, but mine would have to have an interpreter because I still think it would be Fidel Castro. I think that's the person I would want to speak to because just about everything from 1956 on. So. Anyway, yeah, exactly. So that's our Rob Gordons for today. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Now we will play our interview with, and I don't mean play, it's live, trust me. Even when I say, I think it's Saturday on the interview at the end. It
is Saturday.
Yeah. Bryan Kilpatrick of Purple Row.
And we now welcome Bryan Kilpatrick to the show. Bryan's the editor at purplerow.com, SB Nation's Rocky site, and can be found on the Twitter at PurpleRowBK. Bryan, thanks for being on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're going to start off with the Diamondbacks, and we will save the best for last. Your Colorado Rockies. So Greinke's adding a little velocity and even more movement to his changeup. Can this guy be even better, or do you just think why would you mess with success?
With Greinke, it could make him better, especially in that ballpark, because that's going to be a tougher ballpark for him to pitch in. It yields a lot more offense than Dodger Stadium did, and And so, I think having extra pitch, having a little bit more velocity it's really going to help him out there, because behind Coors Field, that's probably, and possibly the Rangers ballpark, that's probably the one that's going to be more favorable for hitters than anywhere else. So, being able to adjust your repertoire, to have it work there and to still, be dominant everywhere else like he has been is really going to help him out.
So we're assuming that his ERA will be somewhere under 0.2. That's guy's crazy. Last year the Diamondbacks, they had some pretty weird external stats. With a little luck, they would have been a better team, better record anyway. What needs to come through this year for Arizona to win the West?
Well, that's a really good offense. I think last year, they were hurt by some injuries to their pitching staff, and obviously getting Greinke and some of the other guys they picked up this offseason is going to help that quite a bit. That's a scary lineup. A.J. Pollock was one of the most underrated players in baseball last year, and Paul Goldschmidt's going to be an MVP candidate every year for the foreseeable future. And, they've got some other good pieces there. David Peralta is a really good hitter. It's kind of cool to see how well he's emerged. And Wellington Castillo is one of the best hitting catchers in baseball, which you wouldn't really know until you dig into it. So, that's why last year they probably should have been a little better than they were, is because offensively they were just terrific. But with, the additions of the pitching staff this year, that's probably going to be a pretty scary team.
Yeah, and moving over to the Dodgers, who won the division last year, and still a lot of people have picked to win it this year. And I'm a Dodgers fan, to be honest, but it kind of surprises me because they have lost a lot as far as starting pitching, and they already struggle a little bit with outfield depth, but they've lost Andre Ethier for a while. Do you think the Dodgers can truly be the best team in the division if Ethier does not produce, or Jock Peterson and Yasiel Puig hit like they did in the second half of 2015?
I think they still can. As good as the Diamondbacks got this offseason, and as good as the Giants will probably continue to be, the Dodgers are still the class of that division. And as you alluded to, their depth, which was really good entering spring training, is being severely tested. But, if there's a team who can kind of come out on a positive side with that, or a team that has the resources to overcome that a little bit, it's the Dodgers. And let's not forget that they've got more help on the way, because, as much money as they have, and as easy as it is for them to go out and pick up free agents or pick up guys with undesirable contracts or whatever in trades, they've got a good farm system too. So their depth will be tested a little bit this year, but I'm a Dodgers fan. I can't be too worried about that. And maybe that's because I follow the Rockies so closely, and I look at, the dire straits they've been in for a few years, and being a Dodgers fan would be pretty enviable. But, I can see the concerns, but, there's a lot of smart people in that organization, and I like the managerial change, and, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and the other issue is kind of starting pitching, because obviously they had Greinke last year. He's gone. Scott Kazmir is taking his place. They've picked up some other pieces. And you mentioned, as far as people coming up, they've got Urias on the way up, possibly. But what do you expect from the Dodgers starters behind Kershaw this year?
Well, they might scuffle a little bit, but it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. That's a fairly easy ballpark to pitch in. And, they've got some guys who probably going to have some success there. I think Scott Kazmir is going to be really good there. Is he going to be a big drop-off from Greinke? Yeah, probably. But, that's not a bad guy to slide in behind Kershaw. He's probably going to be great as usual. And, I forget some of the other guys in that rotation right now. Is Ryu back this year? I'm not sure if he is or not, but Ryu, if he's back and pitching well, he's already proven he can pitch in that environment, and a lot of the other environments in the National League West outside of Coors Field and Chase Field are good environments for the type of guys that the Dodgers have in their rotation. So it's not going to be as good as it was with Greinke and Kershaw up at the top, but they're still going to be formidable.
Hey, Bryan, this is Ted. Thanks for joining the show. I get the task of asking about the San Diego Padres. Now, I'm pretty excited about their throwback uniforms that are going to be coming back this year. But I guess my first combo question is, there were some whispers about A.J. Preller, whether or not he's in danger or, because we know this is a rebuilding year. But tell me this much. Why did last year go so wrong?
Well, it's hard to put, all those types of players who, never played together, guys who aren't good in the outfield, and that's a really big outfield. I think that had a lot to do with it. And, I just don't think they upgraded at the right places. They got all these offensive upgrades. It's guys who didn't necessarily fit well in that ballpark and playing together, both offensively and defensively. But they kind of ignored the pitching staff a little bit. That kind of mixed with the guys who were there, had some promise, didn't take the kind of steps forward that they needed to, and then all of a sudden they had a really big mess on their hands.
My follow-up question, Bryan, is this the year Will Myers finally breaks through?
I think he can be really good this year. He's still a young guy. He's still got that 30-homer potential that people saw of him. If they keep him out of center field, for one, he's not very good there, especially in that ballpark. And having struggled on defense can kind of carry over to offense. But if they put him in the right place defensively, if he can be able to focus a little more on his offensive game, he's a good player. He's got a pretty good plate approach, and it's going to be tough to live up to that 30-homer potential in that ballpark. But he doesn't necessarily need to do that to have a breakout year either. So, I think it's coming soon. Just watching that guy the last couple of years, he's got the right idea. He's got the tools. And hopefully this is the year that he can put it together.
And just a reminder, we are talking with Bryan Kilpatrick of Purple Row. We can move on to the Giants now. Initially, I was just going to ask about Samardzija, but their whole staff has just gotten lit up. Samardzija, Peavy, their ERA is both over 7. Cueto's over 9. Kane, his ERA is over 12. How worried should the Giants be about their starting rotation?
I wouldn't worry too much about their spring training numbers. As you guys know, guys are asked sometimes go in and throw just one pitch throughout their entire outing. So it's not real baseball necessarily in the spring. So you can't put a whole lot of stock into it. And all of these guys have great track records in the big leagues. One guy I would worry about a little bit is Kane, because it's been so long since he's been an effective, workhorse type of guy, and so he might really be on a downhill slide. But as far as Cueto and Samardzija go, I think those guys are going to end up fitting well in that ballpark and in this division, and they're going to be all right. And then of course Bumgarner, not a lot to worry about there either. And that's also another really good offensive team that, if their pitchers go out on the road and give up some runs, they've got enough firepower in that lineup to kind of outslug some other teams if they need to.
Hey, perfect segue, Bryan, because that's my follow-up question. It's an even year. They're due. They should be in this series, right? What are the odds that they surprise everybody and they make the series?
Well, whether it's an even year or not, it's really hard to bet against that team. It's so well managed, and they always seem to be able to go make the move that they need to be able to make to put them over the top, whether it's upgrading, a spot in the bullpen or getting a good solid pitcher to shore up the back of the rotation. They never make huge splashy moves, but they always make the right moves. And so obviously being the whole even year BS, like they like to call it, it's I don't know how real of a thing it is. I just think it's more, this is a good ball club any year, and if they can avoid injuries and misfortunes, just like all other teams have, they can put it together in any given year.
Yeah, so let's move on to the team that we're really here to talk about, Colorado. Nolan Arenado is hitting over 500 this spring. I think his OPS is 6, which I don't even think is possible. But even if he does this in the regular season, which, I mean, if he has a great regular season, if he hits over 500, that would be phenomenal. That would be fun to see. But even if he has a great regular season, do you think Colorado has a chance to play 500 ball?
They've got a chance to play 500 ball. So, I think the type of team they are, if they can stay healthy at all, I think they're built like a 500 team. I mean, they've got a good lineup. They've got some great defensive players. They really did a lot to shore up the bullpen this year, but they kind of left the rotation alone, and part of that's by design, and I don't know how happy it makes the fans, or, it just kind of makes you question what the heck they're doing. But as constructed, they're a 500 team. I think all their problem the last few years is they can't keep guys on the field, and the starters can't go long enough earlier in the season, and the bullpen completely wears out, and things just get bad in the middle part of the season. So that's their deal. But yeah, with Arenado having a great MVP type year, of course they can sniff 500 as long as some of the other guys on the team hold up.
Yeah, and just kind of a sub question to Arenado. I mean, the guys, I think as far as Major League Baseball goes, he's really underappreciated. I mean, he's clearly the best third baseman in baseball, right?
Well, yeah, and everything supports that. I mean, watch a guy play a few games. He's going to make highlight reel plays and show up on SportsCenter every night. Look at the advanced defensive metrics. All of those favor him as well. So, yeah, and you've got people from Brooks Robinson to Adrian Beltre to, of course, his own manager, Walt Weiss, is going to be a little bit biased. But, you've got a lot of people coming out and saying this is the best third baseman I've ever seen. And that's a bold statement 4 years into his career, but if you watch the guy night in and night out, it's definitely believable. And it's nice to see his offensive game coming around a little bit more. And he's still got some weaknesses there, but this is a guy who's really quickly becoming one of the top 5 players in baseball.
Yeah. So is Trevor Story ready to step in for Jose Reyes? And what happens actually if Reyes has to sit out 60 games? Or, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but and Story's playing great. Or are they going to play Reyes instead?
Well, the charges are going to be dropped against the charges against Reyes are going to be dropped due to an uncooperative witness, and so but that doesn't absolve him of a suspension. He's still, because look at the Aroldis Chapman case. He got 30 games and he didn't have any charges against him in the first place. So I think. I think baseball and the Players Association are going to team up, and they're going to try and set a precedent with this suspension. So I could still see Reyes easily missing 50, 60 games. And beyond that, it kind of depends on how Story's doing, or maybe how Cristian Adames, who's another young shortstop who's going to start the year on the 25-man roster. A lot of what they decide to do with Reyes might be based upon how those guys are performing. And if they're, if Story's hitting as well as people think he's capable of, then the Rockies, it may make it easier on the Rockies to say, well, we're just going to eat a whole bunch of money and get rid of this guy. But there's definitely a non-zero chance that Reyes doesn't play for the Rockies ever again.
And we're speaking with Bryan Kilpatrick of Purple Row. I just want to follow up on that Reyes question. I don't know what's worse. What happened with Reyes or Chapman getting upset with his girlfriend and firing off a shot in the garage? I don't know. It's from bad to worse. But I guess my follow-up question for the Colorado Rockies is, will Carlos Gonzalez be here at opening day of 2017?
I don't believe he will. I think, seeing the guy, the kind of shape he's in this spring, and I don't mean to go too cliche with the best shape of his life stuff, but, seeing how he looks this spring, seeing how he's swinging the bat, I think he's in for a big first half, and I think that Rockies GM Jeff Breidish has the guts to get the best package possible for Cargo and move him out at the deadline, and I fully expect it to happen if he stays healthy and is having a big half.
I guess the money question this week, Ryan, how long before for the division title?
Sorry, I missed part of that. You cut out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said the question of the week is, how long before the Rockies compete for the division title?
Oh, man. Well, considering they have yet to win a division title in their existence since coming into the league in 1993, I'm hard-pressed to say how soon they can win one, but they should be able to compete, they've got a top 3 farm system in baseball, according to most people, and they've really got a lot of impact arms in the minors. They've got some guys in the majors who just need a little bit more time, and they're going to become, formidable big league regulars. So I would say, you're going to see some signs of success this year, and they might climb back to that 500 mark next year. So sometime around 2018, I would look for the Rockies to start taking off, hopefully a little bit like the Astros did last year.
Hey, Bryan, we want to thank you for being on Baseball Beer and BBQ. Want to know, where can you be found on the interwebs?
So you can find me at purplerow.com, as well as at Purple Row and at Purple Row BK on Twitter. One is the site Twitter, and the other is the personal one.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryan. And we're done with the recording right now. I do want to thank you again for being on. And like I said, we'll kind of tweet out that you're on the show. So I really appreciate it. And I hope the Rockies have a great season, honestly. You sound like a really nice guy, so I hope they do for you.
Hey, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, and during the season, hopefully we'll have you on again if you can make it. But we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, let me know. I'd love to. All right,
Absolutely.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So, you guys still there?
Who's there?
Okay, good.
Yes.
So thank you for doing this recorded statement for me about the accident that you had yesterday, and that's I'm gonna do that one day, and you guys are gonna be like,
Let's talk about Trump.
No.
Okay,
we have. Hold on 1 second.
Not for the show, but is this even possible? This shit that comes out of this guy's mouth, and
no,
people
hold
just
on.
go,
We're gonna do this for the show. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. And again, we want to thank Bryan Kilpatrick for being on, talking Rockies and previewing NL West. So what else do we have to talk about? Todd, do you want to talk about Trump?
No.
Ted?
Yeah, no. The Trump is just, I almost can't speak. The stuff this guy is saying, and it's like he's trying to throw the election, and he can't, because so many of his supporters just, yes, he's right. And it's like, okay, so he's going to punish women for abortions. And then 3 hours later, he's not, because he realized, oh, that's stupid. And now he wants Japan and South Korea and Saudi Arabia to have nuclear bombs, because why not? I mean, the more the merrier, right?
I thought you were going to say he actually literally wants Japan. Like, he probably does. I want Japan.
he probably does want Japan, too. Because he likes the food, and he would improve their steaks, I'm sure, because Trump's steaks are such a huge success. I just don't get it. I mean, there's literally, as he said, he could shoot somebody in the face and his people would still love him, and apparently they would, because he pretty much has done that. Oh my God, his campaign manager gets arrested for battery, and of course we're in the victim blaming zone, because that's what Trump did. So they're going, yeah, she probably, it's like, no, she didn't deserve it. And yes, it's simple battery. It's not the end of the world. It's not like he punched her in the face, although he probably would have gone up 10 more points in the polls if he had.
Well, to be honest, though, he may be facing a charge, and if he worked for anybody else, the campaign manager, that is, he probably would have gotten fired. But Major League Baseball did suspend him for 30 games today. There's that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I agree. The whole thing is, and a friend of mine said the other day, and I'm sure lots of other people have said it. He did back Hillary against Obama in 2008. So maybe he really is a secret Democrat, and he's thinking, I'm going to win this for the Republicans, and then there's no way I can win the general election because I'll totally throw it when it's too late. I mean, there's that. There's no chance of that, because the reason is, even if he meant to do it, people would still believe what he's saying, and that would probably, as you said, raise him 10 points in the polls.
You know, the fact that throughout everything, this entire campaign, John Kasich is the one person who hasn't said anything. He's even going negative on Trump.
We have to.
It's at that point.
Because he should. I mean, how can you say anything positive about him?
No, but you know, he usually kind of stands to the sideline and is like, "Well, that's Donald. You know, that's not me. I'm the best person." But
he is the best Republican. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
But you know what's worse than Trump?
But you know, he had to lose.
He had to lose.
He had to lose.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead. He says, "Go ahead."
Ted has yielded the floor back to Todd, I guess.
I'm sorry for it.
That's it.
I didn't realize you were still in mid-rant, Ted. You had that pregnant pause. But I was just going to say.
Yeah, I did
ahead.
because no, I'm just saying he had to list his reasons why Donald Trump is clearly not prepared to be the president of the United States, commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world. I mean, this guy is just—it's a joke. It's a joke, and I'm not a Republican. I think I've said that on the last two shows. Though that you guys think I am a Republican.
No. We just like joking about the fact that you were, a one-time guest on something we won't mention. But no, we just give you a hard time.
No. It's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm just saying.
You're fine with being a Republican?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine
with
you
guys
Republican. Joking about it. That's it. And now the joke is old. No, but seriously.
That's funny.
Much like Donald Trump's campaign statements.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about
horrible.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about him is just other than the really outrageous stuff is clearly he doesn't understand how government works because they asked him about Supreme Court nominees and he said he would choose someone who would investigate Hillary's emails. Like they're not the FBI. They're not Columbo, dude. That's not their job. I mean, oh, my God. Anyway, I was just going to say before, as I rudely interrupted Ted, that even worse than Donald Trump is Sony. Did you guys see that they're going to start streaming 4K movies, and they want to charge $30 a pop for them?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's like I put on that social network, which is not the Tweeter. It's like, for that money, Steven Spielberg needs to be sitting on my couch and telling me the story. Like, $30? Are you
$30?
Insane? It's like, do you want to go bankrupt, Sony? Like,
come on.
Yeah. So hey, before we go totally negative, I have yeah, exactly. No, I do have a little fun anecdote. So obviously, as we are speaking now, it's Saturday, right, guys? It's Saturday.
Yes,
so
right.
baseball season starts tomorrow, Sunday,
yes,
and is that right? It doesn't seem right, but it's right.
It's right.
It's right.
Anyway,
it's right.
Full-fledged on Monday. So the company I work for is a big national company, billion-dollar company, but it honestly seems to love baseball. Like I know that sounds like a joke, but
no, it's great.
The reason I say that is because if you're in Cleveland, one of the stadiums is named after or sponsored by the company I work for, and they constantly put out stuff about Progressive Field. If there's a
Quicken
employee-only thing. What's that?
Quicken Loans?
Yeah, exactly. No, Progressive. But they're constantly. Yes,
it's flow.
I'm in a flow here, guys.
It's flow field. Oh, you're in flow. Oh, you're in flow.
No, wait. Hey,
no!
Knock it off. With the red lipstick.
I hope that came out clean because I'd love to add that as a snippet to the show. Knock it off. Things just got weird. Knock it off. So anyway, but no. So they constantly putting out like, Progressive Field for employees can have this day. So they decided. I mean, usually we're in khakis and button-ups or whatever, and we can have dress-down day on Friday, right, which is jeans day or whatever. So they decided that baseball's opening day was Monday, so they sent out this corporate-wide memo saying, in honor of baseball opening day, everybody can wear jeans. And I was like, that's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? I'll just say that's awesome. So, yeah, just because it's baseball opening day, they've decided the whole company nationwide, And in Canada and Australia, too, I guess, if you want to. You can wear jeans. So I thought that was kind of cool. But, Ted, what's happening?
Wait a minute. Stop. You're telling me you're going to show up in an office in Tennessee, Canada, and Australia all in the same day?
That'd be awesome. The other thing was you can wear jeans, but they also want you to wear some clothing from your favorite team. And this says it in the email. And it says if you don't have a favorite team, if you don't like baseball, you can wear orange and black because those colors are nice. I don't know why they chose those colors, but they were like, yes,
orange is the new black?
Yeah, I guess so. But wear your favorite, wear the colors, wear something from your favorite team. So I thought, that's really awesome. So
that's amazing.
I mean, they are based in Cleveland, so they really probably want you to secretly be an Indians fan. But there's that. So, so Ted, what's happening on Late Night Parent? Is there a show Late Night Parent Wednesday?
Yes.
The greatest.
We're going to. It's a new month. Last month was Women's History Month, International Women's Month. This month is, for the month of April, we will be touching upon is autism, talking about autism, talking about people, professionals that have family members or are care providers of people with autism. So this Wednesday show will be based on that, and hopefully I'll be able to get the great Todd Vandenberg to do a WrestleMania aftermath. We'll see. We're still in negotiation on this one.
When is WrestleMania?
Sunday.
We
will do an aftermath show for the 17 people who paid for it.
So, Todd, who's our guest on Cinema Savants?
Cinema Savants on Monday. We will have the fabulous, and literally the fabulous Jen Chaney. She's always been terrific when she's been on with us in several thousand incarnations of this show. And now we finally have a movie show, and she'll probably talk about baseball. So who knows what'll happen Monday? But yeah, I'm sure we'll probably actually talk a little bit about the big movie, because it'll still be a big movie, but we'll talk about, the thing that a lot of people don't like, and some people like, and the critics hate, and it's making a lot of money. We'll talk about that movie and other things as well.
Monday could be a stressful day for me because it's of course it's opening day of baseball and it's just for fun. But there could be a certain basketball team playing in the championship game that night, so I might sound extremely stressed the whole show. I might be, come on, Todd, talk about the movies. But we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight because it's Saturday, right? So anyway, that's our show, and thanks for listening.
The fans hoping to catch a little bit of the old-time religion right here, baby. With Junior stepping up to the plate. Here comes the stretch. And the pitch to Junior on the way. Swing and a fly ball into deep right center field. That baby is going to be fly away. The old-time religion lives. Junior does it. A 2-run home run. And we are tied at 3-3. My, oh my. Magic is back at least for a night.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Had an auto accident? It's common to wonder how things could have turned out differently, if only.
No regrets.
If only you had Erie Insurance. Take the Erie Rate Lock feature. Erie won't punish you after an auto accident by raising your premium. Have yet another auto claim? Hey, it happens. With Erie Rate Lock, they still won't raise your rate. It stays right where it is until you change a car, driver, or address. That's better than forgiveness. It's a locked-in promise. One of many reasons more than 90% of Erie customers stay with Erie year after year. People who treat you fairly, legendary service, great rates. You may have other regrets in life, but with Erie, your insurance company won't be one of them. Go to ErieInsurance.com. That's ErieInsurance.com for a quote, or contact your local independent Erie agent today. Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Limited to 3 years in Virginia. Premium may change if you make a policy change. Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage. Other conditions and limitations at ErieInsurance.com.
Erie Insurance.